For many people, the Justice League movie just didn't quite hit the mark. The whole movie seemed to be rushed in a way where characterization and story got put on the back burner, while various plots and MacGuffins got put in the forefront that led the way to a fairly lackluster film. That said, most of us are aware that Zack Snyder didn't get to finish directing this film, and Joss Whedon ended up finishing the movie instead. Many blame this directing change as the problem with the film, and those people are now getting a shot at redemption in the upcoming Snyder Cut. While many are optimistic about the outlook on this film, I'm a bit more reserved about my expectations on this film. I found Man of Steel kinda watchable, but unfortunately a movie that really misunderstood Superman. If you want to learn more about that, check out my Is Superman a Broken Character video. And I thought Batman vs Superman was a pretty big missed opportunity. Both these films were 100% directed by Zack Snyder, and I didn't find them to be anything close to a masterpiece. With all that said, instead of looking at what the past movies are not, I want to look at the best case scenario. I want to look at what the Snyder Cut could fix and what this movie could do right. So, while I'll do my very best to be objective and stay optimistic, I decided to bring in some help. The DC Life is a fellow comic book loving YouTuber whose goal is to keep you up to date on everything going on in our DC life. He's graciously agreed to take time out of his very busy schedule and help me by giving a second opinion on the Snyder Cut. As a thank you, you should all go out and subscribe to his channel. He has great stuff and it'll keep you all up to date with the latest DC news. Also, be sure to be subscribed to both our channels to not miss out on any future collaborations. Hint, hint. Anyway, take it away, DC Life. What do you need to see from the Snyder Cut?
Well, for me, I really just want to see better, well-developed versions of these characters, because this Justice League movie happened right after Batman v Superman. You know, they just went full on into this thing. They didn't really take the time to develop all of these characters prior to this movie, like with Aquaman and Cyborg and The Flash. Those characters were all first introduced here, even though they did have a quick cameos in Batman v Superman. This was the first movie we were seeing them in action, and Aquaman got his own movie, so we got development there. But in this movie, specifically for The Flash and Cyborg, we never really got development for those characters, and we never really got to know those characters that well. Like for Cyborg, when we started off the film, when we first saw him, he was just automatically already a robot. And it's like, oh, great way to explain how that happened, because people that aren't hardcore fans that know these characters prior to these movies won't actually know how that happened and how he became Cyborg. So I'd really love to see more of an origin for Cyborg, and we actually know for a fact that that is happening, because in one of the trailers that we got, it did show some flashback scenes of Victor Stone when he was playing football and everything. And Zack Snyder has also said that in his version of the film, Cyborg is the heart of the film. So that really gets me excited that we're going to be seeing more Cyborg, and we're going to be getting to see more of this character and see him more well developed. Now, the same thing goes for The Flash, like I said, because he didn't really do that much in this movie. Also, he's played by Ezra Miller, and not that many people are too crazy about him in that role. Like, I think the majority of us agree that Grant Gustin is a better Flash than Ezra Miller is, and that's pretty sad when your TV version is better than the movie version. Like, that's a big problem right there. But Zack Snyder is the one that cast Ezra Miller in the role, same way he cast all these other actors in these roles. So I really want to see, why did he cast Ezra as the Flash? What did he see in him that would make him a good Flash? Because based off that theatrical version, I don't understand it. So really, that's one of the main things I want to see, is I want to see better, well-developed versions of these characters, specifically the Flash and Cyborg.
To be a bit more of my pessimistic self, I really didn't like the villain in the original Justice League. Steppenwolf was really just a bad CGI monster who was one note and fairly underdeveloped. Fixing him would go a long way to fixing this movie, and that's one big thing I want to see from the Snyder Cut. To start off, we've already seen that they've redesigned the character to give him a more interesting look, and I gotta give him credit, it does seem like an improvement. While this is a solid change to make, I think it would take a lot more to fix the version we saw in the original cut. From what I've gathered, I get the feeling that they're going to link him more directly to Darkseid and show that he is serving a greater evil and a bigger threat. I think this could be a really interesting take that's almost reminiscent of Loki in Avengers 1. The thing is, Loki worked in that movie because he's charismatic and interesting in his own right. We got the idea that Thanos was a big scary bad dude because Loki was clearly scared of him, and we already knew that Loki was an interesting and capable antagonist. It held weight to the audience because Loki was frightened by this bigger evil. In a similar way, if this is the dynamic that Snyder's going to use, I really think we need to buy Steppenwolf as a threat in his own right, because we need to care about him as a character and understand that he's dangerous, and be interested in the fact that he, in all his might, is terrified of someone else. And if he's terrified of failing Darkseid, then maybe Darkseid's an interesting person that we should be looking forward to. But anyway, to do that, they really need to flesh out Steppenwolf and show us why he's capable of defeating the Justice League.
Yeah, I have to agree. Steppenwolf definitely wasn't really that well developed of a villain. And it was kind of weird how he kept saying mother and everything. Like, that was kind of confusing, especially if people don't understand that those are called mother boxes, which I don't even remember if that was established in the film. But yeah, I'd definitely like to see more Steppenwolf. But for my second thing that I would like to see from the Snyder Cut of Justice League is all those nightmare scenes, because that was something that was teased to us in Batman v Superman, where we saw Batman, he was like in the desert, he was fighting all these parademons, and we had evil Superman and everything. So that was kind of our tease of it, and that was our glimpse at the future, or at least a possible future, where Darkseid had taken over and now he rules the Earth. And we know for a fact that we're going to be seeing more of that here in the Snyder Cut version of the film. So I'm really excited for that, especially because of some of the things we've heard about it with all the leaks and rumors about this. Because first of all, one of the best things about this is that we do know for a fact that we're going to be seeing more Batman, but we're actually going to be seeing a crazy team up between Batman, Deathstroke, and Joker, at least according to rumors. So just that alone is going to be really cool. But then also with their cool nightmare designs, obviously Batman with his whole desert look. We got our first look at Deathstroke. He's got a cool mohawk going on. And we haven't seen our first look at Joker, but it has been described as like he has long hair and everything. He's got like a police uniform and everything. So it sounds really weird, but really cool. And I'm really excited to see this. And then also we got teases of this in the Snyder Cut trailer, the first one, where we saw the rubble and the debris of the Hall of Justice. And it had like pieces of all the Justice League members. We saw a portrait of Bruce's parents. We saw Wonder Woman's shield. We saw Aquaman's trident. We also saw a Joker card flying in the wind. So I'm really excited for this. I'm also excited to see what happened to all these other members, because Superman went evil. Like, what happened to the Flash? We know in Batman v Superman he traveled back in time to warn Batman, so I'm interested to see what happened to him. Like, what happened to Cyborg too, and also Aquaman. There's a theory going around online that in this nightmare timeline, Aquaman is dead and Mira has taken over the throne of Atlantis, and that's why Amber Heard had to go do reshoots for the film. So I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but it would definitely be really, really cool to actually see, because I think that would be really, really cool.
I know you already touched on this, DC Life, but I don't think I can honestly make a video on the Justice League film and not talk about the depth of the film's protagonists. The main thing I need to see from the Snyder Cut is an understanding of how to develop these heroes. The original cut really leaned on the ideas set up in Batman vs Superman, and it assumed that we already knew Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman, and just hoped that the cameos and overall vibes given off by the Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg would be enough to tell us who those characters are and why we should care about them. To be honest, I found Ezra Miller's Flash to be pretty insufferable, and I don't think that's entirely Ezra's fault. I think the movie just decided he'd have one shtick, and that was being socially awkward and not having any friends. And because he was so one note, it was pretty lame. I hope they take the time to round out his character and show us a less annoying side and a more relatable and diverse personality that we can root for. For better or worse, I think Batman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman will get roughly the same level of development as they had in the original movie. But I think the one thing they must do in the Snyder Cut, is take the time to show the audience who Cyborg is. The original cut was trying to fit in so much stuff. It effectively just punted the character of Cyborg altogether and was just like, he's a cyborg, and he's worried he's a monster, but he'll just get over that because the plot needs it to happen, and then he can talk to all the alien machines. Like, that's all the development we get for him. We instead need to see all of his awesomeness that he has to offer, and we need to see Vic as a tragic character, who is actually still the most human of all the Justice League, despite his current appearance. Speaking of his appearance, just on a side note, please redesign his costume, man. Like, I absolutely hate how this looks. Like, he basically looks like an unfinished CGI Transformer that did it with a Power Ranger, and then the baby that was birthed from that coupling really wanted to be Iron Man, but he didn't have the money to finish the suit. So yeah, that's what Cyborg looks like to me. Anyway, sorry, costume rant over. But honestly, if they can bring more relatability and humanity to the entire cast of heroes, that would fix a plethora of problems with the original film.
Okay, guys, so the Snyder Cut of Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, the director's cut of Justice League, whatever you want to call it, this thing is happening and it is coming to HBO Max in 2021. It's going to be Zack Snyder's perfect Justice League film, his vision of what the Justice League should be. And I'm really excited about this. You know, the theatrical version, I enjoyed it. It's not as bad as people say it is. You know, like how people are now burning their copies of that because they're just waiting for the Snyder Cut. Like, that's a little extreme. But at the same time, I get it because this is going to be the better version, and that's what I'm really excited for because that theatrical version, that was only like 2.5 hours. This Snyder Cut, this is 4 hours split up into episodes. So we're going to get much more character development, much more action, much more storyline time, and it's just going to be really, really cool to see and so different from the original movies. So I personally am really excited for this, and I can't wait to see more of this, especially because it's been said that we're getting it in a couple months. So it's really not that far away, and I'm just excited to see what happens with this.
All in all, I have fairly mixed feelings on this whole thing. I'm pumped this movie's getting another shot because I think the Justice League team is amazing, and I want them to get a film that does them justice. Pun very much intended there. But on the other hand, I've seen Zack Snyder already botch Watchmen, Man of Steel, and BVS. In those films, he seemed to have a general lack of understanding as to what made these characters work. And just expecting him to be the savior of this film seems pretty naive to me. That said, maybe he can learn from his mistakes and see the backlash that his past films have brought on, and he can learn to correct them. If he can finally learn to do that, maybe the Justice League will finally get the tribute that it deserves.
And yeah, guys, so we are also actually doing a kind of second part to this collaboration on my channel, DC Life, which will be all about Titans and Titans Season 3 specifically. And we're going to talk about all the different news and rumors, what we're excited for, and all that good stuff. So definitely don't miss that. Also, don't forget to check me out on other social media as well. Of course, my main thing is my YouTube channel, but I also have Instagram and TikTok. So yeah, go ahead and follow me. And yeah.
Again, I want to thank DC Life for coming on the channel and doing this video with me. I really appreciate it, and please everyone, go out and subscribe to his channel. If you like videos like this, you should also subscribe to this channel. There's actually a button right down below this video. Hey, would you look at that? It's right there. Also, pretty close to the subscribe button is this thumbs up button, and it would be pretty cool if you guys could click that as well. Anyway, if you want to keep up with both our channels, be sure to follow Agent Jim Shorts and the DC Life on Instagram so you know what's coming up for future projects. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, remember to stay frosty.